Hey kids, this is Mr. Bunt coming to you live for another math video. I am going to go over the problem on page 185 that you did today in your lesson 13 problem set. I'm going to go over number 3. And funny thing was that Mr. Bunt actually recorded the entire video that was going to be about 9 minutes long, and I went through the entire problem. And then he realized once he finished the video that his Bluetooth speaker was still on, and my voice was being recorded from my speaker. So when I went back and listened to the video, my voice was very choppy and you could barely hear me. So that was a technical error on my part. That stuff's going to happen. And I was so frustrated with myself. So instead of going through the whole problem again, me writing it down, I'm just going to show you the math that I did. So here we go. Mr. Howard's pool is connected to his pool house by a sidewalk as shown. So if you can see here, I redrew the entire graphic that's on page 185. Here's the pool house, here's the sidewalk, here's the pool. Dimensions are given, and I also drew basically Mr. Howard's yard that he wants to put all the pool stuff in, and I included the dimensions for those as well. As you can see, the pool house already has an area. We have to figure out the area of the sidewalk, the area of the pool, and the area of the larger rectangle, which will represent his yard. And we need to figure out how much sod does he need to buy. So I used a green highlighter to showcase that's where he's going to put his grass all around the pool area stuff. So first thing I did was I multiplied 24 and a half times 24 and a half. So what I did was I did the standard algorithm. You can see I changed the mixed numbers to improper fractions. So I did 24 times 2, which is 48, and then I added a 1, and I got 49. And the denominator stays the same. And of course, since it's the same mixed number, you're going to get the same improper fraction. I multiplied 49 times 49, and I got 2,401. And then 2 times 2, I get 4. So then from there, I divided. I did 2,401 divided by 4, and I got 600 for a quotient. And I had 1/4 left over. Notice the 1 is my remainder, 4 is my divisor. Those are represented as my numerator and denominator. So the entire area of his yard is 601/4 yards squared. Then after that, I found the areas of the pool stuff. So let's see here. They already gave us the area of the pool house, 16 yards squared. The sidewalk is going to be 3, because 3 times 1 is 3. And then for the pool, 7.5 times 2.5, I actually did the area model. And you can see I broke apart 7.5 and 2.5. And in the end, I got those partial products, and I added those together, and I ended up getting the answer of 18 3/4 yards squared. So I put it over here. And now all 3 of those areas I added together. I added the whole numbers first, and at the very end I tacked on the fraction. And I ended up with an answer of 37 3/4 yards squared for the areas of the 3 white rectangles. Now, what I need to do, and we're thinking about this like in terms of a tape diagram, I'm going to take the areas that I found here and subtract from the whole. The whole is his yard. So what I did was, let's see here, there we go. I wrote down the large area that I found, 601/4, and then I will subtract that. I will subtract 37 3/4 from that. Now, in this instance, I wrote it left to right, because if you recall during our win time, that is our way we're going to be solving this type of problem. But when we have a whole number minus a whole number, we're going to write it just like regular and do the standard algorithm that way. So 600 minus 37 ended up getting me 563. So from there, I brought down my 563. I brought down the fraction 1/4. I tacked it on there. And then I brought down my 3/4. So now my new problem was 563 1/4 minus 3/4. I cannot take away 3/4 from 1/4. So what I did was I unbundled and I took 1 away from 563, which in this problem I'm working with fourths. One whole in this problem is 4/4. So this is what I took away, so I tacked it back on to my 1/4. 4/4 plus 1/4 is 5/4. So now I have a mixed number of 562 and 5/4 minus 3/4. And now I can subtract the numerators. 3 minus 5, or 5 minus 3 gets you 2. So that worked out nicely. So I had 562 and 2/4 yards squared. I simplified this fraction because 2 is half of 4. So in the end, I got the answer of 562.5 yards squared. Raise the roof. So Mr. Howard will have to buy that amount, 562.5 yards squared of sod for his yard that he's going to put his pool in. So he'll go to the company that sells him the sod, and they'll probably say, well, it's going to be $10 per every unit, every yard squared unit. So every square that is 1 yard by 1 yard, it's going to be a certain dollar amount. And then it's going to end, he's going to say, well, I need 562.5. So then they'll just multiply that by, say, $10. And then they'll figure out how much Mr. Howard actually needs to pay for his grass. It's going to be expensive, Mr. Howard, but once you do and you put it in, it's going to be a beautiful backyard with the pool house, and the sidewalk. So it's probably money well spent. But when you buy sod, it's not going to be at that. I don't even know how much it really would cost. I've never done any landscaping like that, but that's how they would work it with the business that you are paying for your dirt/grass. Okay, so that was your answer, and hopefully you got it correct, and hopefully you did the math lesson before you watched this video, kiddos. That was the whole point. So quite a bit of work here, and that's what it takes to solve these types of problems. Everything that we've covered was included right in here, and a lot of stuff that we've covered in the past as well when we were back in the physical school. So this will be my last math video for the next week. We're going to take a break over our little spring break, and my next math video will be on April 13th. That is a Monday. So next week on Google Classroom, I will post some Harry Potter videos. I'll probably post some stuff for science, but that'll be about it next week. So if your parents want you to still log on to Zearn or IXL Math, absolutely. You should totally listen to them. You should still be doing some math every single day. But at the same time, next week was supposed to be our spring break. If your parents say, hey, let's take a break from schoolwork right now, I totally understand. When we come back from our spring break, April 13th, you will have new material that I would, of course, love for you to work on to grow your brains. So, again, there's all my work. There's the answer. And you know what? Oh, this warm weather, it gets me really excited for summer and actually jumping into a pool. That would be so fun to do right now. All right, kiddos. That's it from Mr. Bunt. I'm signing off. You kids have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful weekend. Talk to you later. See ya.